Well, hello again.
Well, hello again. Yes, Raymond, hello, because you're actually, before we talk about the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and, the season generally, I know you're off on the journey to somewhere, hotter climes, which more of later, but, you can tell I'm a bit fed up about that, really.
Well, I have great sympathy for you.
Yeah, I know you do, and that's what really, I can't really say what I want to say, actually.
I'm going to be distraught leaving you here.
I know,
and
I
it's
know, I'm
going
sure
to
you
be
are.
sunshine and heat and 25 degrees
Yeah.
and warm oceans
Yeah,
and
I know.
lobsters and all sorts.
Yeah, pity about the thunderstorms coming your way and maybe the big bushfires.
Yeah, okay.
and
Well,
all
I
the
can
other
I
things.
can do one thunderstorm in 2 months.
Yeah. Oh, 2 months. Good Lord. Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah. No. Well, let's talk about the Grand Prix, shall we? Because that follows on a bit from our last.
The season gone.
Yeah.
The season to come.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Okay.
I think that the Grand Prix pretty much went according to the book, as it were. Lewis dominated.
Yep.
Practice and the race.
The only thing that wasn't to my mind when you go to book was how Ferrari managed to screw up so often.
Well, yeah, they got fined $50,000, I think, for the the fuel infringement in Charles Leclerc's car as well.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand that, because they've actually said they've had their fuel checked 10 times this season,
Yeah.
but clearly something went wrong again. I guess that was
Well,
it.
it's got to be something. Yeah.
Anyway,
It's got to be a management issue somewhere
Yes.
along the line, in that they can't get the guys to actually work as a team. The actual Ferrari doesn't seem to be working as a team because they make so many errors and mistakes.
Yeah, Vettel, of course, had quite a slow pit stop. He, one of them. The others were great.
But you go over the whole season.
Oh well, over
Go
the
over
whole season.
I mean, it's just been a cacophony of mistakes and errors.
Still, I got a feeling that they'll get that right in the winter, actually. And the big question mark for me on that side of it is, will Seb come back fighting, rejuvenated, and actually show some of the form that he has, obviously, in previous years, or is it really the end for him when his contract runs out?
Good night, Vienna.
Well, realistically, for Formula One, for him, it probably would
Yeah,
be.
it could be.
Next year must be a.
And then the Mercedes man, Toto, saying 25% of it is Lewis could be going to Ferrari.
Well, I suppose who knows? I mean, if he wins, say he wins a 7th World Championship,
Yeah.
and then breaks, which is quite likely Schumacher's Grand Prix record,
Yeah.
he might just feel, well, hang on, if I can win for Ferrari as well, that does make me
Puts him
pretty.
in a different.
It would do,
because then he will have won the World Championship with 3 different teams.
yeah. Which is saying, I think Fangio's only managed that.
Yeah. So he would be unique from the point of view 3 different teams and won it 8 times.
Yeah, I mean that would be just staggering. I mean, but he's getting on a bit. It'd be interesting to see next year. Next year, Vettel, Bottas is also, I reckon, on the line there too, because George Russell, interestingly,
when he was testing,
he was quickest.
yes.
So at some stage, he must want to break out. He can't have another. Williams cannot have another season like this year. You really can't. It was just they were so off the pace.
But what disturbed me was there didn't seem to be any real improvement in them.
Well, they worked. They worked flat out. They really did work flat out.
Listen, it's already fine working flat out, but if you're not actually making any way forward, you're wasting your damn
I
time.
suppose the car basically was flawed right at the beginning, and whatever they did, they couldn't.
But a bit like McLaren, had problems for about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And now they seem to be.
Well, they're definitely on the up.
Because they were fourth in the constructors' championship.
Yeah.
So they're at least they're showing signs of
Well, I think
getting their mojo back. As it
well,
were.
I think Zach Brown, the penny dropped. You need the right people in the right place, And he finally realised that, got them in, and now you're seeing the results.
But you see,
Good for him.
that's a classic case of getting the right people in the right
Absolutely
management,
it is.
management in the right of the right people in the right
Well,
place,
people-
and look how it goes forward.
Yeah. Well, it's people who know what they're doing in Formula One. And let's face it, it's a small world. There are not many people who really know how to get a Formula One team to win. It's
Yeah.
very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially when you're up against, the money that Ferrari and Mercedes and people spend. So, but he, to be fair, they definitely had a good season, and next year they'll probably make another little jump, and then who knows when the new regulations come in.
Maybe they might be properly competing.
Well, I reckon they got two drivers who definitely
Well,
can compete.
Two very good drivers, I think that, and the beauty of that is they get on.
Yeah, at the moment.
Well, yeah, but they have been competing quite
They
well.
have, yes.
And
Yeah, yeah.
and they do get on. They seem to get on personally. You see, with Ferrari, it looks to me as if they don't get on.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it's just their different personalities. I don't think that it's not that they don't get on. It's just that they're not bosom buddies. They're never going to be. But they're both pretty sensible about it all. But they both want to win. I mean, Vettel's a four-time world champion, and here comes this 21-year-old and basically beats him. So he's hacked off.
Yeah.
But next year's a big year for him. I mean, it really is, because he's obviously getting towards the end of his career, I suppose, anyway, at 33 or whatever he is. So, these 21-year-olds, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, I mean, they're all beginning now to come to the fore. So you're seeing the changing of the guard ever so
I mean,
slowly.
even Russell, if he
Yeah, well, he's only 21, isn't he? So, yeah, no. He deserves. Well, Williams must improve, because he's the only driver who actually qualified against his teammate 21-0 every time.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to, because they were so slow. How do you measure that against? You can only measure it against your teammate, and on that he slaughtered him.
Yeah, but it's still pretty difficult. But you can't measure it against anything else, though. That's
No,
the problem.
but more importantly, when he was testing the Merc, he was the quickest, which I think shows that the talent's clearly there.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
it'll be an interesting year next year, because I do think Red Bull and Ferrari will be up there with Mercedes. So we'll see, won't we?
And possibly McLaren bringing up the.
I think McLaren will be nearer, probably fighting maybe for some podiums. I can't see them making that huge leap.
Mhm.
I mean, it's still a big.
And there's no one else actually, is there?
No, not really. No, not close enough. No,
No.
definitely not.
No.
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 No, it can only be them.
I mean, the one that continues to disappoint me is Renault. I don't know what's happened with Renault, but they just seem to have lost the plot.
Well, yeah. Well, they're the only other real works team, and yes, I mean, it is odd. The car clearly was. It seemed to work in some, but I mean, yeah, they're nowhere near the top three teams.
No, close.
By rights, because they've been very successful in the past. They've
should be-
certainly
they
got
should be up
two
there.
good drivers now.
Yeah,
with
but they should be up there.
They should be, but they're not.
They're not.
And they won't be next year. No, it's too big a gap again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I think on that kind note,
I suppose, on that note,
we'll just sort of call it a day for this one.
Call it a day, and say, we look forward to the next season. And my tip for the top, which I haven't got a clue.
Okay, au revoir.
Au revoir.